Dad. You have a video to shoot.
Oh, shoot. Is it time? What's going on, guys? Texas Fan in Rehab here, man. And listen, I'm back. I apologize for being away for a little while, man. I took a little time to take a little vacation and kind of rest and relax and recharge my batteries for a while. Hey, but to be honest with you, man, the Texans haven't had a whole lot going on, man. I mean, you know, mini camp is over with. Training camp is soon to be coming in the next few weeks. So, you know, it wasn't a whole lot of activity going on. So since the Texans had a little downtime, I figured I'd take a little R&R, a little break myself. So, you know, my apologies to those that were looking for something to come every week. What can I say, man? I just needed a week to take a little rehab and, you know, kind of come back, you know, Texas stuff, man. We'll get right into it though, man. But listen, first and foremost, man, if you guys like my content, of course, man, I gotta give you the plug and play, man. You know, give me a like, give me a follow, give me a subscription, or excuse me, share the page and share the channel to, you know, your friends, family, whoever, man. Let them know that we're out here, man, and we're doing this follow up with the Houston Texans every single week, with the exception of last week. And we're going to make sure that we stay on top of this thing rolling forward, man. But I look forward to hearing back from you guys in the comment section, man, and chopping up with you guys. For those that have made comments with me, man, I appreciate your comments. And just want to keep chopping it up with the guys that, you know, watch the team, follow the sport, man, and we love what we do, and we love participating with all things related to the Houston Texans, man. So let's go ahead and get right into this thing for this week, man. So I'm gonna start with kind of a double layered question of the week, man. And the question of the week for this week is going to be basically, in the team history, which moves of all the moves that have been made, I know this is going to be kind of a complex story, but out of all the moves that have been made in the team history, which moves do you wish that the team could take back and redo? I'm going to say it again. Which moves, out of all the moves in team history, do you wish the team could take back and redo over? And I know this is kind of maybe some revisionist history opportunities or whatever, and maybe in some cases even some spilled milk. So I'm actually going to touch on it, and I'm kind of going to go, you know, distant past and more recent relevant history, I guess you could say. Number one, for the distant, you know, nothing I can do about it. It's definitely spilled milk type of situation. Hey, man, I wish that they could redraft and instead of drafting Mario Williams, pick my boy up, man. Vince Young, man. You know what I'm saying? Out of H-Town, out of Madison, you know, Marlon, just like me, man, to my heart, man. So it hurt my heart back when we had the opportunity to draft him back in the day. And, of course, Vince was, you know, basically screaming to the top of the rooftop, anything that he could get out of there, that he wanted to be a member of the Houston Texans. And, you know, there was a whole lot of stuff that was flying around, people trying to knock his legend down, and, you know, nitpick at the different things that didn't, you know, they want to say didn't translate. Ultimately, we did see in that first year that it did translate very well, as you saw that he became Rookie of the Year. He beat us. And to be honest with you, man, as long as Vince started, he never lost against the Texans. I think that's a record that's kind of under the radar, man. But as long as he started against the Texans, he never lost against the Texans. I think that the Titans did lose one game in the time that he was there, if I can recall right. But he doesn't have a losing record at all against the Texans, man. That's something he can kind of hold under his belt, that he was able to take it to the team that passed on drafting him. So, you know, if I could, man, that's one thing that I wish that we could take back. Because, of course, you know, watching him run for 30 yards on a 3rd and 14 to finish the game and scream to everybody in the stands, "This is my house," and watching all the fans in the stands going crazy, losing their minds over the fact that, you know, the hometown boy taking it to us, man, that was tough. But at the same time, you kind of had to root for him, man, because he's an old boy, man. So, listen, that's one of them that I wish we could take back. And then another one that I wish we could take back, this is going to sound a little convoluted, but, man, we eventually fired Bill O'Brien. But if we could have fired him maybe 1 year earlier, I think that probably would have addressed a whole lot of subsequent situations that we ended up having. Of course, you know, the whole fallout when it came to DeAndre Hopkins and that terrible trade right there, man. I mean, maybe that wouldn't have happened had we handled business with Bill O'Brien the year before, and making him the general manager. That wouldn't have happened had we handled business with Bill O'Brien the year before, and all the little subsequent moves that happened while he was being basically a hole running the ship with the organization. Man, maybe Jack Easterby wouldn't have been a thing relative to. Golly, man, got me saying relative to Jesus Christ, Bill O'Brien, man. Anyway, just want to get rid of him, man. He was just a bad stain on the organization in the time that he was there towards the end. I mean, I know he had good teams to start out with, but you just go back and look at the history of his teams and how the magnitude of those highs versus the weight of those lows played out, man. I mean, it was terrible, man. Like Kansas City playoff versus Kansas City 1, playoff versus Kansas City 2, where we had the huge lead and then we turned around and we lost. I mean, for all of the greatness that he had at his hands, at his disposal, man, Bill O'Brien left a lot to be desired, man. And I mean, dude had a real bad attitude that's apparently has followed him moving forward. I mean, of course he keeps landing, jelly side up, so that's great for him personally, but all things considered, man, I think that the team would have flourished a lot better had he, been handled, the year beforehand. But, listen, spilled milk on both parts. I get it. But, what's your opinion? What's your one take back or your one mulligan that the Texans could have back and do all over again? What would it be for you, man? So let me hear from you in the comment section, man. I want to chop it up with you, see if you guys have something that maybe I missed or something I hadn't considered. And definitely I want to kind of replay those moments again, man. Have my little rehab moments, as I call them, man. So anyway, let's touch on some other stuff real quick, man. So bit of sad news that I didn't get a chance to touch on that happened in the month of June. We lost a couple family members to the organization, man. A couple former players that spent time with the organization and they unfortunately passed too soon. So I want to pay respects to those gentlemen. Cedric Killings was a defensive tackle that played for us for a short window of time, 2006, 2007 time frame. His career was ended very short and abruptly from he broke his neck on a special teams play while he was playing with the Texans, man. So that kind of contributed to some of the rules changes that have happened since then when it comes to special teams and those wedge blocks and all of those things that happen. Reason why the special teams is what it is as far as rules today. He played a factor in that. And so he passed at the age of 45, unfortunately, from pancreatic cancer. And then we also lost Ryan Mallett, man. Ryan Mallett was the quarterback. Oh man, I had a good word for him, but he was the quarterback that was kind of like he was our guy, but he was kind of an anomaly with the team, man. When he got the opportunity to start, he was definitely mixed reviews. He'd be very hot and then would do something off the field that would kind of undermine what it is that he was bringing to the table or his opportunity to take the reins. And so this is back in the era when we had Brian Hoyer. I remember vividly that he was the first one to throw J.J. Watt a touchdown. So that was kind of dope. And matter of fact, I think that was his very first touchdown pass of his career when he finally got a chance to be the starter. So that was kind of dope. Something that he could always hang his hat on, and JJ could have that attachment to Ryan Mallett. But then at the same time, I remember there was a game against the Miami Dolphins where I think he missed the plane, and he was supposed to come, ride with the team with the plane, and he missed the flight and wound up having to fly coach to kind of get to the game, and that turned into this big hubbub or whatever. And lo and behold, he was gone right after that, man. So. It's sad to see. He was only 35, man. He had a accident in Florida where he drowned, unfortunately. And so, I want to pay respects to these dudes, man, because these guys, it's unfortunate to hear anybody lose their life, but these guys have spent some time with the Texans organization, man, and it's unfortunate. So salute to those gentlemen and their families. Prayers are definitely up for you guys, and just want to take a moment to kind of reflect and remember those guys. So. All right, let's get back to some other news, man. So, again, it's not a whole lot going on with the Texans organization. They kind of, right now, they've been filling in the gap with a whole lot of stuff related to J.J. Watt. And so that's what you're going to end up getting from me. I mean, it's, not my choice to try to choose, J.J. Watt content. But I don't really do a whole lot of stuff in the community with the team and all of this stuff. I kind of give you what they give us, basically. So I'm gonna just kind of keep it at that for now. And then when I have more stuff to talk about, then I'll turn that corner and give you guys more on that side too. So, J.J. Watt has been basically trying to find his where he can sow his royal oats in this post-career madness of his. And so he and his wife, of course, have invested in a team overseas, soccer team overseas, where they are, part owners of those teams, and that's something for him to do. Of course, he's, got a new son. That's definitely going to keep him occupied. I know about that, having 2 kids myself. But then he also is in line to have his number retired. So we've already covered all of those bases. But the new news for J.J. Watt is that he's actually going to be joining CVS. Wait a minute, not CVS, CBS, the broadcast station, you know what I'm saying? So he's going to sit on the panel with the guys at CBS, man, and he's going to, break down the game and give some content, especially for the AFC games. So he can talk about the Texans, he can talk about the Steelers even, where his brother plays. And, if his other brother gets back in the league or finds a spot on the roster somewhere, I think he's out right now. But if he finds a spot on the roster, I'm sure it's probably going to be in the AFC or something too. Then he'll be able to give a little breakdown and commentary about the way his brothers play, man. So it's going to be dope, man. I look forward to seeing JJ on the screen. We don't know if he's going to have more Tony Romo type of effect or if he's going to be more Tony Gonzalez. I don't know, man. To be determined. I look forward to seeing him on the team. I mean, on the screen. He's going to be a professional about how he goes and handles his business. But will he be good on TV? To be determined. People eat up his content, regardless anyway, man. So they just love to see him on the TV screen. So at least for the first year, we'll enjoy how this goes, and hopefully he can find a nice little groove with this thing. I don't want him to turn around and come onto the screen starting out like Shaq, man, where Shaq was kind of robotic at first and stuff before he finally found his lane, and now he's one of the greats on TV, as you can tell. But I wish all the best for JJ, man, and of course in all the endeavors that he ends up doing. But as he tries to find this nice soft landing spot for him post career. No telling what's going to happen, man. But listen, he had a great interview on the Green Light podcast with Jake Long. And so I'm going to put the link right here, man. But you guys should definitely go check it out. It's a nice interview. He covers a lot of bases, a lot of history with the Texans, stuff with his playing career, advice that he might have moving forward, the things that he reflects back on. So it's definitely worth the watch. Maybe about an hour and 10 minutes or so long. It's definitely worth the watch. Good content and stuff to check out, man. So anyway, we'll come back to that at some point in time. Listen, training camp is coming up, so I want to touch on a couple of things real quick. Training camp is going to be July 26th through August 17th. The Texans have released that there's going to be 8 days that are going to be open to the public. Tickets have already been released, so you can go out there and get tickets. I know that there's a few dates left. Most dates have already been sold out, especially there's one night practice. I believe that night practice is on August 5th. So if you can go to the night practice, probably some cooler temperatures or whatever. You don't have to deal with the sun and all that stuff there. But, if you've never been to a training camp experience, man, like, as a fan, it's really, really, really dope, man. So there is, of course, the on-field activity with the team practicing and going at it. You actually get a little bit of contact. You can kind of see what they're doing in their whole practice routine. And I mean, just like you're on the field, man. They got the field roped off or gated off or whatever, but you get to like stand there and be on the field. There are some tents where you can get a little shade or whatever, but that's at a premium, of course, because there's going to be a lot of other people that are going to be out there. Water will be available. I'm sure there'll be food vendors and stuff. Cheerleaders. There's going to be tents and stuff for all kind of little, trinkets and stuff that they're giving away. Of course, sign up for this, sign up for that. So they're going to take advantage of the fact that people are out there. But it's a dope experience, man. If you get to go out there and shake hands and get autographs and see these guys up front and in person, man. So a lot of these guys, you know, to be honest with you, a lot of these guys you're probably not gonna see again after this. You know, to be honest, some of these guys gonna get cut. They're gonna get sent to the practice squad, or maybe they get, you know, signed on with some other teams. So this is your opportunity to get out there and go mingle with the players, man. You know, get familiar with them. If you haven't been around the game, if you haven't been around the players for a long time, of course, there's a lot of turnover, a lot of upheaval, a lot of new faces. Get your chance to go out there and go check them out, man. So they're going to be doing this from the 26th, again, the 26th to the 17th of August. Practice is usually going to start at 9 a.m. So it's going to get hot. Come on, man. Protect yourself, man. Protect your babies, especially if you bring your kids out there. Bring whatever you need to bring so that they're protected. Be prepared for it to be extremely hot because, you know, Houston Heat been tripping, man. So it is what it is. But then they're going to have a joint practice session with the Dolphins that's going to be August 16th and 17th. And so if you've never been to that, then I'm gonna tell you that's when things kind of get turned up a little bit, man. Because the Texans and you know the other team, they've definitely been looking for somebody to kind of, you know, go to head with, man. And they've been tired of hitting their own guys and having to go soft against the quarterbacks. And you can't touch this person, touch that person. But this is in anticipation of the preseason game that follows at the end of that week. So they're gonna be ready to touch these boys up, man. And so this is, you know, when it comes to the Dolphins, you got, you know, Tyreek Hill, you got Jalen Waddle, you got Tua Tua. Yeah, I ain't gonna say his last name, so we'll just leave it alone. Just call him Tua. But you got these guys that are gonna be out there, and you hope to see them representing in the practice. You may not see them in the preseason game, so the practice may be all you get to see anyway. But on the Texans side, what you might be looking forward to, like I will be, is I'm really looking forward to see what the wide receiver continuity is, to see how these guys fit. Do we have a number one? Are they gonna kind of just, you know, by committee that spot? I know we got a lot of slot receivers, so that's great. You know, what is Noah Brown gonna do? Because I was looking forward to Noah Brown before the season started. And I'm sorry, when they first started into making the transactions and before the draft happened, I was looking forward to seeing what Noah Brown was going to bring to the table. But a lot of that has kind of been, you know, pushed to the side because we got John Mechie coming back. We have Nico Collins. We have Xavier Hutchinson. So we got these guys that are question marks. We don't know what they're going to bring to the table, and of course, we look forward to seeing what that's going to be. The other position that I'm looking forward to is D-line. I want to see what that's going to look like. I don't have high expectations for D-line right now outside of Will Anderson Jr., but, you know, there's a lot of cohesiveness that still got to happen. I'm going to give them the time to do what they got to do, man. I trust in D'Amico. I trust in this program. I trust in this system. He'll figure some things out, and he'll have these guys ready to go when the season starts. Preseason to be determined, but I just want to kind of get an early play on the continuity of how the team is going to be looking, so I can kind of see, you know, to be honest with you, when it comes gambling time or if it comes fantasy football time, what are we looking at? You know what I'm saying? So this is what's going to make a relevant difference for us as fans when it comes that time the season starts. We know what we're going to be expecting as far as when we look at that schedule, because I know I was just chopping it up with my barber the other day. When we looking at the schedule, we optimistically we see that there's a chance of them get to 9 wins. I mean, you know, there's a chance, but you know, it could also be as low as 6 wins. So this will give us the first peek, you know what I'm saying, to try to see what might be. And then of course we have a couple joint practices. So I said already Miami, but then we got one away with New Orleans. So they'll be practicing against the Saints on the 24th through the 25th. And the main thing that you want to have come out of all of this training time, man, is you want health. You want these guys to get away from this thing unscathed, no damage. And listen, knock on wood, man, we want this thing to be as healthy and safe as possible for these guys so that they can come back and do their thing, man, for the season. I'm really pumped about this year, man. I mean, it's not really a whole lot that I can add to the table with today's video, but you know, in the subsequent weeks, we'll have some things to start picking up, man. I'll be asking more questions about team continuity and positions to be played with. I'll even touch into some historical stuff, man, because I got some questions that I want to put out there to guys, especially once some guys that are old and long in the tooth as a Texans fan like me. If we can go back and remember some of these cats that played with the Texans before that you don't hear about anymore, man. I mean, I was just thinking about it the other day, the fact that there's only D-Hop and it's D-Hop, it's Andre, and it's JJ. I mean, you know, Dwayne Brown, Laramie Tunsil, and Arian Foster. These are probably like our main guys. Oh, Matt Schaub, let me give him credit too. Matt Schaub, these are probably like our main guys in the history of the team that like have this, you know, rapport with the fans as far as what they've accomplished with the team. But I look at both sides of this thing, man. We got some guys that were trash while they were here too, man. And you know, I can think of cats like Matt Stevens, Jacques Reeves. You know, hey man, if they're watching, I'm just calling a spade a spade. It is what it is, man. These guys that had these particular moments with the team where it just left us unfulfilled. Maybe they were super talented at some point in time, but they just left it to be desired when they were with us, and I don't understand. So I'm gonna be touching on a lot of different moments, man, and I'm sorry to be a little long today, but you know, I just want to hear back from you guys and see what you guys think and see if you guys remember some of these same moments with me. So I'm going to throw some challenges out there to you guys and look forward to those things in the future, man. But till then, man, I just want to check with you guys, holler at you guys. Texas Fan Rehab, I'm out.